Her silent gaze. My route to the office was a study in urban decay and hesitant gentrification. Crumbling Victorian facades stood shoulder to shoulder with new soulless condo blocks. But Market Street, that was the stubborn holdout. A stretch of forgotten shops with peeling paint and for lease signs sun-bleached into illegibility. The jewel of this forgotten row, if you could call it that, was Dolores' Finery. Its windows were so caked with grime you could barely see the ghosts of dress stands inside. It had been empty for as long as I'd worked downtown. 5 years. Until Tuesday. Walking past, coffee in hand, something made me glance. It was the starkness of it, I suppose. Amidst the dirt and shadows, a figure. A mannequin. Female, vintage, dressed in a surprisingly well-preserved, if dated, teal cocktail dress. Her plaster skin was chipped around the jawline, her painted red lips fixed in a serene, almost knowing smile. Her hair, a sculpted blonde bob, was immaculate. I frowned. New tenants? A pop-up shop? Seemed unlikely for Dolores's. I shrugged it off. Just another city oddity. Wednesday, she was still there. But her head, I was almost certain, was tilted slightly to the left, as if appraising the passing traffic. Wind, I muttered to myself. Or maybe the floorboards are uneven. Still, a faint prickle of unease touched the back of my neck. Thursday, the prickle became a shiver. Her right hand, previously resting by her side, was now raised, fingers delicately curled as if about to wave, or perhaps beckon. The teal dress seemed a shade brighter, the fixed smile a fraction wider. I stopped, actually stopped, and stared. The street was busy, people bustling past, oblivious. I felt foolish, scrutinizing a dummy, but the dust around its pristine white heels was thick, undisturbed. No one had been in there. By Friday, I was actively looking for her as I approached Market Street. My morning coffee tasted bitter. She hadn't just moved a limb this time. She was a good foot closer to the window, the grimy glass now only inches from her serene, smiling face. Her eyes, painted a startling blue, seemed to fix on me as I walked by. I picked up my pace, a ridiculous knot of anxiety tightening in my stomach. Over the weekend, I tried to forget about her. I told myself it was an elaborate prank, kids finding a way in, moving it for kicks. But the image of that fixed smile, those unblinking eyes, kept intruding. Monday was worse. She was pressed right up against the glass now, her sculpted nose almost touching it. And something new. A thin, dark line, like a crack, had appeared, running from the corner of her left eye down her cheek. It looked almost like a tear track. I found myself holding my breath as I passed, half expecting her to tap on the window. My heart hammered. This wasn't funny anymore. This was wrong. I started taking a different route to work, adding 10 minutes to my commute. But it was no good. I felt her absence like a phantom limb. The curiosity, the gnawing dread, it pulled at me. After 3 days of avoidance, I found myself back on Market Street. She was still there, pressed against the glass. The crack on her cheek was wider, deeper. And her dress. It was different. Subtly, but undeniably different. Before, it was a plain teal. Now there was a faint, intricate pattern of what looked like dark vines embroidered around the hem, a pattern I would have sworn wasn't there before. My blood ran cold. That night I couldn't sleep. The image of her, the silent watcher in the window, was burned into my mind. Who was doing this? Why? Or was I losing my grip, stress manifesting as a bizarre obsession with a shop dummy? The next evening, fueled by a mixture of terror and a desperate need for answers, I found myself in front of Dolores' Finery after dusk. The street was quieter now. The streetlight cast long, dancing shadows. I approached the window cautiously, heart thudding against my ribs like a trapped bird. She stood there, pale and still in the gloom. Her smile seemed to mock me. The crack was definitely more pronounced. I reached out a trembling hand, my fingertips brushing the cold, grimy glass. Nothing. She was just a mannequin. Plaster and paint and old fabric. Relief, potent and sudden, washed over me. I was an idiot, letting my imagination run wild. I let out a shaky laugh. I turned to leave. Tap, tap, tap. slow, deliberate, from the window. My breath hitched. Every nerve ending screamed. I forced myself to turn back slowly, dread coiling in my gut like a serpent. She was no longer just pressed against the glass. Her face, her entire face, was flattened against it from the inside, distorted by the pressure. The crack on her cheek had spiderwebbed across her features, bits of plaster flaking away. Her serene smile was now a horrifying, stretched rictus. And her eyes. Her painted blue eyes were gone. In their place were two dark, hollow sockets that seemed to drink the meager light, staring directly into my soul. A low sound, like fabric tearing or old wood splintering, emanated from within the shop. I didn't scream. I couldn't. I just backed away, stumbling, my gaze locked on those empty sockets, on that horrifying, welcoming grin. I ran. I ran until my lungs burned and the image of her silent, terrible gaze was seared onto the inside of my eyelids. I never walked down Market Street again. Sometimes, late at night when the city is quiet, I think I can still hear a faint, rhythmic tapping. And I wonder if Dolores's Finery ever found a new tenant, or if she's still there in the window watching, waiting.